The second book is about the year that I spent traveling. After university, I didn't know what to do with my life, and I was behaving like a journalist. And it was amazing going through Southeast Asia and China, and then into Tibet and Mount Everest and Nepal. So that was just really fun to write about. And there's a second part to that book, which is the second 6 months through India and Pakistan. But I've been so busy with the publishing company that I've had to put that project on hold because I'm focusing on other people's books at the moment.
That's going to be exciting.
Yeah, it's really fun to write. I've got my children and my business, and that feels like two areas of focus that I'm, just want to kind of knuckle down on.
Right. I'm just trying to summarize from what you mentioned right now. I think something that kept you going was your curiosity. I think that's very important as a writer. And the second one is observation. What you wrote in your books is essentially the observation, your own interpretation of the world around you, and then documenting it. Now I'm going to touch upon two important things because I'm also a writer. The biggest challenge is you have ideas, but how do you start writing it? Where do you start? And how do you structure it? You also must have faced the same challenge. Putting it all together in a format, or I don't know, maybe because you were a journalist, it was a little easy for you. But for anyone writing, any young author, what are the challenges they should be aware of? Where do they start? And how do we use this podcast to at least have that starting point of giving a structure to them and knowing that, hey, this is where you start. But then you also talk about the challenges that you faced and the budding writers are going to face.
I think the subject matter that you write about has to absolutely consume you. You have to feel this kind of discomfort if you don't publish it, if you don't publish the story in your head or the experience that's still lingering with you. For some authors, it's 50 years after that experience has happened and they just can't let it go. So because it's a lot of work to write a book, you won't be done in a couple of weeks with this, to write a 50,000 word book. So it has to really consume you, that you have to get this off your chest. You've got something to say, something original to say, because that will keep you going. And then for a long time, I felt really intimidated by the fact that a book is so long. And even though I would have written many books, if I added up all my 800, 1,500 word articles, it still really intimidated me. Like this is, you've got to persevere with a book because it's not something that you can do, intensively for a month and then just kind of drop it. Like it is something that requires your sustained attention and your time. You have to carve out your time to do it. So having a really clear structure and planning it really well is really helpful because the last thing you want to do is write a draft that you then want to tear up at the end and begin all over again. I couldn't think of anything worse. That would really deflate me. So I structured it in terms of chapter summaries. Some people might be more visual where they map it out as kind of almost like a chart or something. But I had cards so that, little speaking cards, and every chapter would have a few points, the scenes really, because they're the scenes for your life. I'm talking about memoir. And then I'd sort of rearrange it and did everything. Were there tangents? Was I taking people down interesting paths, but a diversion? And so I looked at the sum of my experiences in Myanmar and thought, what am I saying? Like, what is the overarching message of this book? And how do I want people to feel when they close my book? Because people will forget the contents of your book. They won't forget the way that your book made them feel. And so I wanted to impart knowledge about Myanmar, but in a really poignant way, because it's so bittersweet to me. As I was finishing the book, the coup occurred and all the positive steps towards democracy were wound back in a matter of a month. So my book, what I thought was just quite a lighthearted account of an expat journalist in a foreign country, actually became a history book. And so there were so many things in Myanmar you see that you wouldn't believe them if you hadn't seen them. Really touching moments of people's generosity to each other. And so the scenes that I chose had to show this country that is full of contradictions. So you've got to show the contradictions and full of lightness and darkness. And so you want to contrast that in the chapters because you want the pace, you want not to continue in a kind of, even way. You want to have shorter chapters and longer chapters. And every chapter, the protagonist, me, solves a problem, only to be presented with a new problem. And I had a lot of problems in Myanmar. So, I got fired. My husband Sherpa had so many visa issues. Making money as a freelance journalist in a country was, there was just so many challenges, but so many life highlights and career highlights. So it was kind of distributing them in a way that was still linear because you can't mess around with time. But it's a question really of what you leave in and what you leave out. Because if you put stuff in that shouldn't be in, the reader starts to forget why they're turning the page. Yeah.
Look, I have a few questions on that, on the response, but let me start with asking, how much time did each book take?
Well, they took quite a long time because I was working full-time with small children. So I would get up early in the morning and write both the books for about 45 minutes. And I would also start my day cheekily with like another 45 minutes. And then every time my children slept, like on the weekends, I would write the books again. So I was probably only writing for maybe 8 hours a week. And the first book took me at least 2 years. And the second book took about the same. Yeah, because if I was writing full time, it would be completely different, but I wasn't. I had bills to pay.
That's brilliant. 2 years, right? And I believe now that journal can be a lot shorter because now you are into publishing. We'll come to that later. If you had to write the books again, what different would you do now?
It's funny. That's a funny question. So our home in Myanmar, I wouldn't change anything. I'm happy with the book. But Once Around the Sun, I do think of it from time to time. I was in my 20s. I was backpacking. It was pretty wild. And I might have overshared. It's hard to know because there's when you're backpacking, you end up in situations like now, that I'm in my 40s, I look back and I think, what was I doing? What was I thinking? And so I'm not sure whether I did, because I don't share all of myself. I share what I'm comfortable with. But when I look back at some of the things in that book, because I was a wild child, I think, gosh, do you know what I mean? Or is it just, when you're 25 and you go backpacking, and you're a free spirit, you know what I mean? So I'm not sure. But the fact that I still think about it means that part of me is uncomfortable with part of it. But I don't think it's something like, when I'm on my deathbed, I'll regret.
Wow, that's interesting.